I know this is one of the most waited episodes for some of you, and there is for a reason. What I'm gonna show you today was a game changer for me. For a better experience, workflow, and to be honest, probably also for the sound. If you follow me, you already know I like how some acoustic audio EQ sounds. Unfortunately, they are even CPU and bring a huge amount of latency till your project feels very bulky. While with Melda, this sensation is quite the opposite. I feel I can load whatever I need without noticing any issue at all. They are also very customizable, so before starting, I want to remember that everything I say is just my honest opinion. I'm not here to trick you saying what companies would like me to tell you. Unfortunately, this is very rare even in our field. You know, it's easier to get money from companies faking review instead to being honest and hoping for some appreciation. So if you like it and you appreciate that, you can find the links in the description. So while playing with hemodynamic EQ, I discovered I can kinda program the curve behavior and even more. This is insane. I never found any other EQ that give me that option, and this makes this EQ the most valuable in the market. So I decided to pick fewer EQ I like the most and to translate them into this Melda EQ. Since the beginning of the year, I started to use just this EQ with my own models, and I cannot be more happier, cause now I have a very light EQ that sounds the way I want and that comes with all the Melda goodies such auto gain and the other stuff. While reviewing plugins, I usually show the curves, and they are mostly pretty linear without weird behavior, just with few exceptions. So the more EQ I test, the more I feel every time a company releases a new one that doesn't do crazy stuff, it's just releasing a kind of reskinned preset. I start to feel this to be a kind of scam, cause they could just create an EQ, then create presets in a way I'm gonna show you in this video, or even better with more specific code inside if needed. But of course, they would just sell you one product instead of thousands, and selling stuff is the only things they care of. In 2022, I made a video comparing different Pultec simulation. I liked some one more in the lower frequencies while other in the higher frequencies. So if I needed that kind of treatment on both high and low end, I had to load two different EQs to have better results. But now I can just take the curves of these two plugins to make just one Pultec to create what in my opinion is the best of them. But how can you create your own EQ? For doing that, you need a hemodynamic EQ, of course, the EQ you want to transpose, a demo version is enough, and plugin doctor. I don't want to make a freaking boring tutorial explaining every single bit, cause Jesus, it would make this video to last more than 2 hours. I prefer instead to show you the whole process, so if you want to spend some time, you can do it by yourself. The first step is to create the knobs we are gonna use. So in this case are the frequency selectors along the dB knobs. We are also divide them into their own graphs for low frequencies, low mid, and so on. Now we start to configure the knobs. The first one is about the frequency selector. So for the first band on diamond, we enable one band on our EQ, so we use band 1. But what values? Let's start just with the frequency first. Instead of continue frequency selection, we go for fixed values as we see on diamond. For doing that, on Melda we create banks. So here we can store the values to match our reference EQ. Then we select the numbers of steps, in this case they are 3. Let's try our knob now. The banks are switching, but there's a fourth useless bank we have to remove. Here we are. Now we need to enable the band 1 and to find the right values to match the reference curves. The curve under 20 Hz is different, but is not what human can hear, so no worries if it looks different. Just play with the frequency gain and the EQ to match the curves as best as possible. Since the Q is something we need to store along the frequency, we have to add the Q on the settings that needs to be stored. So now I'm redoing what I've done before, but this time I can store all the needed value. I wanted to include this process just to show you that's important to play and to understand what you really need before messing with too much stuff. When the curves match the reference, we can save the frequency and the Q value. Now we can do the same with the next bands. Now we need to do the same for the low-mid frequencies. If everything is clear, just keep to the mid-high frequencies, cause we have some differences. Although I want to keep this in the video cause it may be helpful for someone to watch it entirely.
dancing in the falling rain. I felt alive, but in a better way. I close my eyes, and in your name I pray that I will never see the same again. Now I heard your voice, I heard you in my pain. That day you brought me back to life again. And I said, oh, and now I know your name. You are the truth, the life, the only way. Break every chain and die. I see miracles right before my eyes. You know that I had a miracle come into my life. I heard you saying, hold on, hold on. You know I'll never let you go, go, go. I heard you saying, hold on, hold on, hold on. You know I'll never let you go, go, go. I searched the world for what I found in you, but you light me up in ways I never knew. And now I got it bad, yeah, I got taste for truth. And I don't fear no sickness, now I found the cure. I overcame and died. I see miracles right before my eyes. You know that I had a miracle come into my life. And I just wanna stay in your arms, lay here in your love, rest in your perfect heart. Oh, I never wanna let you go. I'm holding on to everything you are. And from the way you came and pulled me out, I love the way you turned my world around. You changed my mind and healed my heart of doubt. You changed my life, I know you won't stop now. I overcame and died. I see miracles right before my eyes. You know that I had a miracle come into my life. Break every chain and die. I see miracles right before my eyes. I heard you saying, hold on, hold on, hold on. You know I'll never let you go, go, go.
Now it's time for the mid-high frequencies. As before, we check the reference and try to match the curves. Just remember, every time you switch the range of frequencies to use a different band. So we used band 1 for the low frequencies, band 2 for the low-mid frequencies, and now we are gonna try band 3 for mid-higher frequencies. I'm trying different kinds of bands to see if we find a good shape to mimic Diamond EQ. It looks not possible to match the white band with one curve only, so let's use two of them. We do the same for the other band selection. Now it's time to check if everything we've made so far works as intended. Okay, I'll stop here, cause the process is freaking long and it requires lots of fine tuning to get everything right to the beats. You can do lots more to have a better match, but I want to keep it simple cause, well, it's usually enough to achieve good results. I hope now you learn how to start your own process. I grant you doing that stuff it's way less boring than watching it, and despite to buy newer plugin, it's also worth the hassle. So, do you get an 100% copy of the plugin? Probably not, but can you hear the difference? Well, if you are good, you cannot hear any differences. I spent some time to pour the EQs I needed, sometimes even changing the behavior for the better to fit more my needs. And this is another very valuable option. You have the full control over your EQ and you can copy paste it or even improve it. And if you ever need some surgical action, you don't need to load another EQ. You can just enable and use band and do whatever you need. With all the modulating options, you can also change the linearity response. So an example, the more you boost, the more the EQ get narrow or wider, along other stuff that make it possible to create an EQ that act like a real analog machine. If you want, you can also add saturation, or as we saw in the previous video, we can also automate to slightly shift the frequencies to create something that it's kinda crazy and really get something like a real vintage hardware. You can take and modulate every parameter you need to create your favorite plugins or even go beyond and build your own hardware machine in the box. This one was very long, but in my opinion it's also very useful. You are able now to spare money in recreating what you need, while loading a very lightweight plugin with no latency at all. If you want, I shared on my Ko-fi page, you find the link in the description, my pull tag and my API 550 recreation, so you can not only use them but also see what I've done to achieve some other behaviors. The pull tag should be pretty linear, while the API needed some modulation on the cues. Thank you for being with me till the end of this video. See you in the next one. Ciao!